Surprise. Yeah. Well, some things are going good today. Like I've got a thing that was bothering me is I had when I first went to Georgia State University, I was going through the library. And I was like, now I can really learn about the world and so on. And I came to this wall of books. It's like it's a whole. It goes all the way up to the top. What is this guy? Galway now. Come on, get some hills, Spoonbender. If I can get you up to 100%, I'll get coin. Good. That's a good Spoonbender. Appreciate you. Come on, Galway pal. Can you die? Yeah. I think she did die. But yeah, it's like now that I'm at Georgia State, I can read these books, and I came to this wall of books. It was like 98 books by Gandhi, and actually, it's what it is it's 98 volumes of Gandhi's complete papers. And the thing is yeah, he wrote a lot, but you can't take what Gandhi has written often out of context. Well, you can't take it out of context. It's not standalone stuff. In other words, these papers, each volume of 98 volumes is about 500 pages. And it's really tied in with the history of the British Empire, the history of India, the history of the world, really. There goes Galway now. I want to see her. Sweetie, I know you're a bot, but I love you. That's why I pay you so much attention. Even if you don't exist. Why are we behind? Oh, what is this guy? Oh, turkeys. I really don't mean. Wretched lump. But lo and behold, it's. I came back from China. I still hadn't read Gandhi, and well, I got, or the Mahabharata for that matter. I'd read some truncated versions of the Ramayana, but I'm like, I really, lock on to things. I'm not going to, let it go. And since then, I have read the Mahabharata, and I have read the Ramayana twice. Ramayana. I haven't read the whole Talmud, but I've read like big tons of it. And I still work on it. But this Gandhi thing, like, and I'm talking about today being a good day, it's like, all this crap that has happened where, I had actually got Gandhi and started reading, and I read up to about volume 30, 32 or something like that. I think about the year 1925 and his life or whatever. Because, yeah, I mean, that's there. You should, you gotta read that. Everybody's always talking about him. And usually, now, after having read what I've read, I know that you really can't, know what Gandhi has really said. Absolutely, you really can't know that. There are things that are often attributed to him, and there's no way of knowing. There are people that wrote down speeches where there was nothing. The only way you could have gotten that speech is if you were there. You're a reporter and you wrote it down. And of course, any reporter with a political agenda would say, "Well, Gandhi said such." Gandhi himself had to say that. Now that this thing has turned into a big movement, you're going to hear Gandhi says this and Gandhi says that. Well, you have to, when you hear that report, you have to look at it and see if it goes against my principles. If it goes against my principles, I didn't say it. Because I say things, I have principles, and I say things based on those principles. And it is somewhat fascinating. I had posted on Facebook the Ted Rall kind of critique of, like, what if everybody was, having sit-ins and these like little protest things at Auschwitz, not agreeing to full-out violence or whatever. And Rall makes a strong position, which I don't like. I think there was great strength in not opposing the Nazis, and just they should everybody should have just run back away from them and let them run as far as they want to go. And I bet they'll have a change of heart. It comes out post-war. I mean, even the Jewish guy that was in the Hitler Youth, Solomon of the Hitler Youth. What was that guy's name? Solomon Perel. A gay SS Einsatzgruppen officer found him at a Russian orphanage, and he's Jewish, but he's like really good looking and spoke good German. And he's like, we'll pass you off as German and put you in the Hitler Youth and send you back home. The gay guy was trying to have sex with him. Solomon Perel. This is Solomon Perel's story. Wow, 4,035. But even late in the game, Solomon Perel and the Hitler Youth, he was like, no, they're not exterminating the Jews. They're going to send them to Madagascar. They made a movie about that. The Solomon of the Hitler Youth, I think, is the German. Solomon of Hitlerjugend, or something like that. And when they did it with English subtitles, they called it Europa, which is like, we sort of don't want you to watch this, so we're going to give it an obscure name that has nothing to do with what the story is about, and maybe less people will watch it. That's what I always thought about the name Europa, which is the story of Solomon of the Hitler Youth, right? And how, so you can get this thing of Germans that, all along they were like trying to put a happy face on it. You can go read Dr. Goebbels' Christmas addresses, man. They sound like Bush and Reagan. It's very nice and wholesome. It's not like, meanwhile, behind the scenes, millions of people are getting killed. Yeah, it's like when Bill Clinton, when the Rwandan prime minister was assassinated, and the Belgian peacekeepers were, we need people, send people in, and Clinton made a really nice speech, Well, we can't always. We have to, decide when we're going to respond, because there's stuff going on all over the world. So instead of sending help to the Belgians, we're going to withdraw all the peacekeepers, and then, the Rwandan genocide happens. And lo and behold, it's all U.S. weapons in there. And lo and behold, the RPF was being armed and trained in southern Uganda by the United States, right? And lo and behold, they didn't stop in Rwanda after over 1 million people were dead. They flowed directly in with all the all the swag from America to go and assassinate Mobutu and put Laurent Kabila into power in the Congo and precipitated 2 wars, killing 5.5 million people. That's like 6.5 million dead. And here, people that I knew were like, well, thank goodness we have a liberal president. I'm like, are you sure he's what you think of as a liberal president? I mean, and his wife, she's supposed to be so far left and advocation of, health care. Why was she they were both involved heavily in Republican stuff. And she was a Goldwater girl, right? Fought against the civil rights movement, pandered to black voters, and acknowledged it. Right? She went on radio and she says, "Look, I've got hot sauce in my bag." And the guy, the black DJ, is like, "Are you pandering to black voters?" And she's like, "Yeah, well, what of it?" Yeah. Hot sauce in your bag. You don't understand it, girl. You don't know what it means, man. It doesn't mean that you have a package of hot sauce in your purse. But anyway. So I was talking about good things about today, and Gandhi. It's like in the midst of all this chaos that I got myself into coming back to the United States. There was Gandhi, and I actually read up to volume 30 or so, and then I had car trouble, and I was listening to. I would convert the text into MP3 so I could listen to them on my commute. And this is one of the things that I'm doing. If you look at my other YouTube channel, I'm trying to make audiobooks, but they're more than audiobooks because there's a text reader. It's Text Aloud, it's called. And it highlights the text as the AI bot reads it. Now, what I've found that you can do is you go to the grocery store or something like that. You put the smartphone on your buggy there on the little seat back thing for the kid. If the kid's not there, if the kid's sitting there, she's probably watching YouTube Kids, and no help for that. But if not, you can put your smartphone there, and there's a lot of literature that's not only is it being read aloud, but the text is large enough, and sometimes it's not, but I'm working on that. The text is large enough to where you can see it on your smartphone and it's going by. And all this meaningless, time-wasting consumer habit trail, you got to drive here, drive there, you got to have this, you got to have that, all that waste of time stuff that takes away the ability of people to read books and study history and learn from the mistakes of the past and so on. You have a window of opportunity to avoid that mess by reading anyway. And then when, it's like you go around take your wife to the Asian market, and you got to go to some Chinese takeout place and order all this stuff and wait for it or whatever. The whole time you can be reading a book. The book on my page there, the book will be going by. And I'm working on, I have the Ramayana up there, the whole thing, the English translation, of course. And I have a lot of literature and classic literature is up there now, and including, there's a 27 file set of a bot reading The 1001 Nights. There's some Chomsky books up there as well, linguistics as well as political economy. There's more coming. So one of the things about today, and I'm coming back again to the whole thing of why today is kind of good, even though I feel exhausted, is that I've got bots around the house on these different computers, and they're reading stuff that's gonna go up onto the David MCB1 YouTube channel, and I hope you get a chance to look at it and enjoy it, and I hope it gives you a chance to learn some things, and grow your mind, expand your consciousness through the acquisition of knowledge. So my bot is reading Gandhi on volume 3. 1/10 of as far as I've gone. I actually, when I started to redo it, I started with some of the volumes from World War II, because I was seeing this stuff in like the Jerusalem Post, like really lurid sort of tabloid stuff that, you know, Gandhi's a Nazi, basically. He loves Hitler. He's a friend of Hitler. And that's really a misrepresentation of Gandhi's, what he does and why he does it. And as with me, typically you know, I look at life and I look at, did you get stuff done? You know, you made plans or whatever. Did things happen? No. Right, and one of the things that, you know, it's like, you know, if I can read Gandhi or whatever, I can really... Well, hello. Just thought I'd come back and see you guys back there. Could somebody get the central control point, please? Man, that's so annoying. We pass up that area, we should be in control of that. No. This turkey. Yeah, I need to take the shield down. Better run. Because I'm telling you. So now my bot's gonna be doing about a volume of Gandhi. So in 3 months a day, in 3 months, should have the complete audio of Gandhi's complete papers. And I'm sticking to it, right? I'm gonna get through it. I'm not gonna give up, right? I'm gonna keep. Got a lot to do, you know. When I came back from China, I mentioned this before, you know, some Chinese entrepreneurs came all the way, you know, around the world to come see me. They really liked me. They wanted me to get into an auto parts business with them. But I was like, no, I'm going to do it. You know, I married a school teacher, and I'm going to do a school. And but my you know, as you get to know me, you know, my wife is like, she doesn't like kids, you know, especially other people's kids. She has very little patience for her own, and not teacher material. She's really not. In her physical condition, she has very little. I found out in the Philippines that her, you know, she'd go and do something in class, and then most of the time the kids would be doing their work, and then when it came time to grade their work, all the students, 800 students or whatever in the classroom, they would all grade each other's papers, right? And she stand there. So I mean that's not really good teaching experience. Actually, it's like not even teaching at all. It's just like having authority. You know, I'm the teacher, and I can have you whipped by your parents. So do what I say. Do the work that is, you know, since my country won't put enough money into its education system. Well, one of the most notorious things about the Philippines and the world is that they spend almost the lowest amount possible of money on their education system, to the great disgrace of the heritage of their great forefathers. And the result is, you know, they're producing people that don't like school, they don't like learning, they're very resistant. Lowest in Southeast Asia of reading level, the general population. Check it, don't take my word for it. But you know, my wife came over. She was supposed to be a school teacher, and she doesn't teach. She didn't want to teach, you know, and teaching stuff that I arranged for her. She won't make tutorials. She likes to watch short YouTube videos of stupid people being ridiculed for acting like idiots, and laugh at them. So I kept in fits and starts moving forward with my school. You know, I really my mother had set up a school in her house, and then got a bunch of kids. And then when she had enough kids, she moved the school to an apartment complex, a big place in an apartment complex. So it was kind of like a 3-year saga. A couple of years at the house, and then the third year actually out in a big place, competing with a Raggedy Ann and Andy daycare business or whatever. And of course I watched that, and it would be something for me to do, you know, that follow in my mother's footsteps and do that kind of thing. And I have some friends that have been very successful doing that, but after all these struggles, and I couldn't figure out what was going on with my wife, finally she said, well, I don't want to do this. I want to stop you from doing it because I don't want anybody to come to my house. I don't like people. She's sort of a misanthrope. She's like, and this is one of the concerning things about watching all the awful videos of the terrible things that people do. Yeah, people do a lot of terrible things. People fight against it. They do a lot of wonderful things, trying to huge amounts of wonderful things that improve a great mass of people's chances for life and a continuation of their descendants and everything, and that they'll have, there's a lot. It's a question of what you focus on, and some people, I put it like this, some people are like, they look at a cup and they go, well, it's half full, and then there's some people that look at a cup and go, well, it's half empty. And my wife is the one that says, rats pissed in it, right? And that's kind of what can be the result of, looking at constant tabloid murder and awful horror movies and stuff. Like, you fill your brain up with that stuff, and then you already have a lot of physical pain because of your own bodily condition or whatever. You look at another human being and you see, that's Jason, he's a mass killer or something like that. And it really has an effect on how people interact with you, or do not interact with you. People don't seek her out. She doesn't have people come to the house, hey, and want to visit, or something like that. I'll be walking in Walmart, and a guy, this happened a couple months ago, will see me in Walmart and run down the aisle, and he'll hug, I was just talking about you, the greatest teacher I ever had. I want to come to your house. She doesn't have that. She doesn't have people. And she doesn't, So it does, it makes her, she hasn't had, if you follow, like the wisdom of your forefathers and do these good deeds and try to do things to bring honor to your mother and father or whatever, all of a sudden, honor your mother and your father. Okay, this is one of the 10 Commandments. Think about it. Think about that on a different level. Like, do you think about when you're doing something really good and somebody's really impressed that they're thinking of your parents and going, this kid has had good upbringing, and that you have brought honor to your mother and father by doing good things, even if your mother and father were not necessarily good or actually did a bunch of bad things, right? You brought honor to them, right? And in doing that, you find that an aspect of this is that you get in situations like this. This guy that hadn't seen me for 40 years, he was like, I'm rich because of you, and I'm going to move to Panama. I bought a house outright. I'm selling my business. I'm a big currency trader. I'm going to open a school down there, a currency trading school. Come on out. Come and live. Let's live. We'll have a great time. And I was like, well, no, I'm stuck here. But you ask yourself, does that happen to you a lot? And I'll tell you how it can happen to you. Is if you read things as, what should we do in the world? What is wisdom? What is advisable, and what should we not do? And you try to do those things, and you try to help other people. Hey, if you order your life this way, you won't get kicked out of college. And that's what I did with this guy. It's like, I know I've been exactly where you are, the situation you're in. You got that letter from the dean. You're going to be expelled, right? And I told him sad stories about how I was in a bad learning environment, and I was way behind in math. It's like, you're a math genius. I'm like, well, it's not thanks to the system. It's really not. And if you let the system's going to tear your ass up. So listen to me and come up here every day until you can pass your little calculus course. And you go out, you graduate, you got a degree, start a business, and you made it. You're not a dope dealer or something. You're not in prison or something like that, or early death or whatever like that. You got sense, and you do that a bunch of times, and people look back over the course of their life after many years, and you begin to stand out as a person. You begin to stand out, and people call you up and they say, I'll never forget what you did for me. You really, a guy told me, are you kidding? He's like, you launched my career. And I was just asking him, can could I ask you for, a little bit of help here and there with these computer things? And he was like, you kidding? You launched my career, man. I'll do anything. And then, one time I called him here recently, and I was like, I'm thinking of this, doing a web server for my house where, I can have my own website and just monitor it myself. I feel like I get more out of it that way. It's like, well, it's really cheap to get web hosting, but if you want to do it, you can do it. And in the course of it, I mentioned that I lost my domain because of my wife's depredations, and I was having to jump through all these hoops and send cashier's checks to Ionos. Never get involved with them. If your domain goes over to Ionos, man, move it as quick as you can. Awful company, really awful. But as soon as he heard that, he was like, "How much you need, man?" I was like, well, he's like, "I'll send you $100 right now." I was like, well, I was actually closer to two. It's 150 actually. Is what I need to clear it up because I have to send a cashier's check and I have to pay them $95 and then pay another. And my wife won't pay it. It's her fault that it's there. But she's strangling me, the business or whatever, because she's just in pain and embittered and suffering. She can't get vengeance on the people she really hates, so she kind of takes it out on the people that are close to her that she has the ability to hurt. But yeah, as soon as this guy, what? I was like, yeah, man, I'm in a tough situation. I gotta watch my daughter. I gotta come home because things are really out of hand here. She's not getting the attention that she needs and stuff. And still, it's a real difficult situation even that I'm now home. But the guy's instantaneously, man, I'll send you all the money you need. No problem. Man, you saved my whole career. It's like, have you saved somebody's career? Have you tried to put, and I did. I said, this guy's gold, right? I could see that he was the kind of guy that really got things done. And he had health problems. And it wasn't, the department where we were working, they didn't like him because they had so many people that didn't do any work all day long. So it was crucial, absolutely crucial for, the do-nothings to appear like going into the building right at that certain time of day, going out from lunch and coming back from lunch right at that certain time of day, and leaving the building right at a certain time of day. It doesn't matter the whole rest of the time they're looking at porn or playing Quake or something like that, just as long as appearances were up. Whereas I had this one guy, man, and he was sick as all get out and was late all the time, progressively later and later and later. But man, I'd be out, I'd come back to the office and man, where's all those computers? They were all fixed, It's like the little gnomes or whatever that go in the cobbler's the shoe shop, and while he's asleep and repair everything. I was like, this guy's really gold. Really, he can really do this stuff. He can really solve problems. Usually most every other kid, as soon as it comes up to something where there's a question where you have to do some analysis or whatever to find out what the solution is, they send it up to me, right? And I have to go figure it out. That's typical American, So this guy's an American Coast Guard veteran. They're like, we don't want to hire him on staff. He's too smart. He's a threat. He makes us look bad. And also, in more ways than one, by being, a competent computer specialist professional, right? He makes us look the more incompetent. And also, he's indecorous because he's often late to work and he often leaves late. So he's not seen, and he skips lunch because he was late, right? So nobody sees him. But I was his direct supervisor, and I saw what he was doing, and I knew there was something going on. It turned out this guy had a really, really bad case of mononucleosis, and it created a sleep disorder that was exacerbated by his struggling with it. He got depression. Issues will do that to you, and but yeah, I did what I should have done. I could have like gone in with the, oh yeah, I'm going to stand with my supervisor and say, well, we need to get rid of you. No, I did anything to keep him on a staff position. I know, I was like, you don't have hope here in this department. They know too much about you, right? And you're not their kind of people. They're racist. They're bigoted. They're that way because they themselves are incompetent, and they're trying to draw attention away from themselves and blame it on the immigrants or something like that, the problems that we're having. And so I helped him, get a job in the business school, and he struggled through. He finally got cured from his mononucleosis and was able to get his life back straight or whatever. But as soon as he heard I had any trouble, man, he's like, man, I'm sending you all the money you need, just bam. And I got the couple they're like, come down and live in Orlando. We're gonna be rich. We're gonna do this auto parts business. We like you. We want to work with you. I had people tell me, come to live with us in Washington, and get a new start here. I had just the other day one of my former teachers say, anytime you want to come up, and we have houses in New York and New Jersey now, and they're doing business up there. They've immigrated. And they're like, anytime you want to come up here and live in New Jersey or live in New York, just come right ahead. Man, we're ready for you. Love to have you. And Des Moines, a former boss of mine, wanted to invite me down there. And I live in a house that was willed to me by a disabled person that I took care of when everybody else just tried to ruin him. I stood by him. And he really didn't have anything. He didn't have any equity in his house. So when it was willed to me, I had to just start paying for it. And I've paid a significant amount. Now we got some equity in it, not much, but there's not much left to pay because it was a really cheap house when it was bought. But my point is if you look at the world, it's like the whole rat's pissed in it. It's like, is the cup half full or half empty? Or did rats piss in it? Right? There's a lot to seeing the good in every situation. A king, what is that they had in Braveheart, the jerky English king is like, a king finds the good in every situation, right? So you want to be a king? See the good in every situation. And go after the good in every situation and do the good in every situation, and you'll be surprised. Your world will change, and it takes a long time. Many years will pass before things will happen. Like a guy in Walmart says, "Man, I'm rich because of you," and come live in Panama, with me. I got a bunch of money. I'm just buying a home outright and starting a school down there. You'll have stuff like that happen to you. Or people that were your friends or whatever will say that to you. You don't have to be negative and so on. But having said all that, let's see where I'm at. 4038. I'm sore tempted if I. I'm gonna go one more, and then I'm gonna. Your dad, 2000. Is that his name? Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. Look at the slop. Missile rack bozo. Okay. Just minding my own business. Let's go. Stay on. Oh, that's right. And disc launchers too. That's stupid. Better save, right? Let's see. Surprise! One more. God. It's almost time for siesta. I enjoyed that. Definitely. Damn, Helix, right. Sucker. All right, I'm getting out. I'll try to get back on. I'm gonna take my afternoon nap and see what happens. See if I feel better after that.